All right. So I have one more question for you all. So in the text, not even looking at the trailer itself, in the text, we have two very different versions of everything that happens in this time period. One is from the perspective of a maester, and the other from the perspective of someone named Mushroom. What do we know about the core differences, and what do we think HBO will primarily use for this show? Let's start with you, Constance. I know you have a lot of thoughts on this.
Oh boy, yeah. If you're going to be, I think it was there's two other versions of the story, right? Like you said, there's two different ones. There's Septon Eustace, and then there's Grand Maester Munkin, and then we've got Mushroom. Right, so we've got a Septon, a man of the faith, a holy person of the seven, who's going to be telling the story from a certain perspective. Then you've got a Grand Maester that's going to be telling it from a more, neutral perspective. And then there's Mushroom. Mushroom is you'll. I don't know if we're going to see him in the series or not. He doesn't play that big of a role in the story, other than as a storyteller. Right, he doesn't influence the actions quite so much as he reports on them. And everything he reports is as salacious and as dirty and as just downright weird as it gets. And I really think
he's a writer for HBO.
He's a writer for HBO, exactly. If they follow the route that they did with season 1 and 2, where they used sexposition as a way to explain plot and explain story, then we'll definitely see the Mushroom route. But if they're going with the route that they've already established a lot of the lore, they've already established a lot about the characterization, they may not need to go so sensational, and they may go like the Eustace route instead. So it's hard to say. I think it also depends on which story they want to tell. Do they want to tell a more historical, sweeping saga, or do they want to tell like a sordid romance? I think that's really going to be an interesting directorial direction when we get to it.
All right.
That's my 2 cents.
All right, what about you, Sam?
Oh my gosh, give me the Mushroom cut. The 4-hour, hashtag release the Mushroom cut, 4-hour episodes.
And there went our PG-13.
I feel like it'll be probably like a little mix of both, honestly. But because there's some parts, there's like I think, Constance, you brought up, like, there's rumors all over the court all the time. And sometimes those rumors tend to be true. And I feel like that's maybe when the Mushroom parts will kind of creep in. But I think it'll be a mix of both. I would love to see the character Mushroom, like, in action, though. I think that would be, like, just kind of a nice little nod to book readers and lore readers of just like, hey, this is Mushroom. And then, I think that's kind of fun. So, yeah. But I think a little bit of mix of both, I'd say.
All right, Solar, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's going to be told from the Maester's point of view with some sprinklings of Mushroom just to keep the umami in there. Primarily because of Grand Maester Moirin. Okay. We're not going to get the Septon's point of view because of their connection to Old Town and the Septon's hatred for the Targaryens. That wouldn't make very good TV. I mean, even after Baelor the Blessed converted the realm and all that stuff, but the Septons were still hurt from the dissolving of the Faith Militant. Now, the Maesters are really the ones that killed the dragons in this time period. So if a story is going to be told, it's going to be told about the stupidity of the noble houses and the killing of the noble beasts that are the dragons, and leave them not culpable at all. It's going to leave them completely out of it to keep the illusion of neutrality. Even though the Maesters that, the Grand Maester is still working for the Targaryens. So one of the big things about these stories is everyone who reads them knows that they're unreliable narrators, because it's in a time where the small council approved of everything that got published, and if they didn't approve, somebody could lose their hand for writing stinking lies. So So, yeah, the story that we get is going to be the most neutral and sanitized version that shows circumstances being the things that destroyed the dragons, told by the organization that wanted them gone in the first place, you know, and leaving them with their hands completely clean. I'm definitely with Sam with hashtag release the mushroom cut. You know, give me that mushroom cut, because as bawdy and as dirty as it might sound, the jesters tend to have no real political alliances, since their entire job was to tell the truth to power. So,
Yeah.
you know, that would be the most neutral and objective telling of the story, because the embellishment would be with how many people were naked and who did what with a donkey and a honeycomb. You know, I mean, that
Right.
that would be about it.
And whether it's an uncut mushroom. All right, Uzma, do you have a question? Uzma, did you have an
Doesn't
opinion?
mention that.
Side.
Yeah,
He does talk about that.
I
Go
think George is an
Go ahead.
I think George is an expert in making you think that yes, this maybe this event happened or that, and in reality, the truth turns out to be something completely different. So, and since George is working with them, it's possible that both their accounts, maybe both of their accounts were wrong, and the truth was completely something else. So that would be a nice twist for even the book readers, because the book readers think, yes, we know everything that happened. And while, yes, Septon Eustace and Mushroom's accounts at least confirmed the events that, yes, this had happened, they didn't agree on how it happened. So, since George is working with them, it would be really nice to see if it turns out to be something completely new. So, even the book readers will be able to enjoy it. But HBO, but I agree with Solar that HBO would probably go with mostly Septon Eustace's account with a little bit of Mushroom's account thrown here or there.
So I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I genuinely believe that there's your side, my side, and the truth is kind of how things should go. I don't necessarily want something wholly new. Like I could deal with some new in there, but what I imagine is that the truth falls somewhere between both, between all three perspectives. That they're all seeing the same things, but I'd like to see not just what the truth is, but how the truth can become so muddled to everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do the rumors go from A to XYZ? So yeah, I'm really hoping to see the truth shown as if it is easily redefinable as any of those possible outcomes, at least from an outside view. That's my hope.